A shiny new 19 FD Rockwood GeoPro just landed here at Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And you can build these a couple of different ways, and that will affect the weight. So I will get into that a little bit more as we go. We try to keep these in stock a couple different ways most of the time, but sometimes the way that we keep them isn't necessarily the way that you want them. And that's okay. Just like this one, we're happy to get one built to your preferences. And normally I don't record custom ordered campers, but this landed right as some updates came through and I wanted folks to get to see everything. So absolutely keep in mind the one we're looking at today could be, and likely is, a little bit different from the one that we have on hand. You know, little examples that like this, you can option on the off-road package. We like to build these with a custom ordered front windshield like its 19 FBS cousin. And anytime you start changing things on this, you're gonna change the weight around. You can build one of these things just under 3,000 pounds, but as you see it here, it's about 3,095 pounds. So remember that when you see the weight listed on our website, it's the weight of that camper with that equipment package. Since Generation 2 GeoPro, they have had this very light, modern, open, and airy color palette, and I think it's one of the signature calling cards that has helped drive a lot of success for the GeoPro series. It makes this little camper look and feel not so little, and that's really one of the things that goes hand in hand with the Murphy bed system that we're looking at here, because it gives this RV the space, seating, and sleeping of an RV with a slide, but it does so without adding that extra length, weight, and cost required to get a slide out. Now, Rockwood uses it's a more expensive Murphy bed system than almost any other brand out there. Winnebago's is very, very similar. And expensive doesn't always mean better, but this is definitely a case where I think you get what you pay for. So they have, you can see, the double gas struts to make this an easy lift and lower system. And it's a one-piece Murphy bed. It is not a folding, bendy mattress, bendy bed. And, you know, the bendy beds, they certainly cost less, and there is value to something being less expensive. So the question is really, how much are you going to use it versus what are you looking for? But this is the simplest, easiest variety of Murphy bed to use. It has a safety lock so that if you do sit directly on the headboard, it won't lawn chair you and dump you up into the front headboard area and cause you to maybe get trapped and get hurt. You can also see those dual nylon buckle straps right there. They allow you to leave your bedding in place, and that's what I like about a one-piece Murphy bed instead of a bendy bed. You do not have to remake your bed every morning and every night. All you really have to do is stuff your pillows off to the side somewhere and then just grab them, you know, tonight or whenever you want to lay down to take a nap. Now, if you don't need the sofa, because there's a lot of people like, dude, I don't care. I don't want a Murphy bed. Like, I don't need this. I just want a bed and a place to eat. You can use it like this. All you have to do is put the bed away when you're going to travel. But what if it's a rainy day outside? What if it's a little too rainy to sit under the awning? It's nice to be able to put that bed away and enjoy the expanded living space of a sofa. Or what if you have guests in your little camper? Now, this is still very everybody friendly. Like if you note over here, we have on the left, that first black box is our charge controller. Next to that are some USB plugs. But you see how these side stands have household power outlets. Now they have one by the headboard there and one more by the armrest of the sofa area here, but the fact is there's still a phone charger and CPAP friendly. And with GeoPros being off-grid specialists, this RV has an inverter wired into it that will basically run everything, I believe, except the microwave and the air conditioner, because the TV is also 12-volt operated. So you can continue to use those. This is a CPAP friendly camper even when it's off-grid. So if you do like boondocking and you're a CPAP user, you're not gonna die in a GeoPro. You're going to sleep well and not have to choose, do I sleep good tonight or do I go camping? You can sleep well and go camping with a GeoPro. And in case you missed it, there are hanging racks. Those are hanging wardrobe closets on both sides of that bed. One of the things some Murphy beds will lose, though, is storage under the bed. But if you notice, you have still maintained the storage under the bed. It's just under the sofa now because the sofa is under the bed. It makes a lot of sense. So and this is separate from anything outside, so you have a very handy separated storage space from inside to outside of the RV. Now, you've got excellent window coverage on this model, and I think that's one of the things that has spurred its popularity as well. Because our main entry door, notice, does have a full viewing window, not even a frosted glass thing. But if I get right up here, you see it says thin shade ready, but Rockwood has also included the variety that does have the pleated night privacy shade that pulls down here. Speaking of privacy, they took these a step further with the very nice roll down blackout shades. So if you really want to blot out the sun, I just bumped that sofa and dropped it down in case you're curious what that sound was. You can really blot the sun out here. Now, as we pass over, you've got windows beside the bed or sofa. You've got a window in the door. Then you've got a nice large viewing window overlooking your dining area here. So again, you have excellent visibility. Up top here, you'll find that all of our cabinetry is still pocket screwed, just like the Mini Lights and Signature Series Rockwoods. If I scroll up a little bit, you see the optional low-profile 13,500 BTU air conditioner. We will actually get on the roof and look at that in more detail, because one of the questions I know you're going to have is, does that increase the height of my camper? Short answer is, no, it doesn't. Now over here, they've done something interesting, but really smart with their entertainment setup. This little black box here, this is our Furrion entertainment unit. It is Bluetooth, it is stereo, AM, FM. It does have an auxiliary input, and it has HDMI and USB plug ports, so if you want to put in like an Amazon Fire Stick or a Roku stick or whatever, you can. Now up here, this TV can operate on either 110 household power, meaning a normal plug like you're used to seeing in your house for a blender, or 12 volt power. So this is an off-grid functional television. Additionally, it has an integrated DVD unit. So if you do want to watch an old disc on a rainy day, and you're camping where you don't get good reception or something off the antenna, you can do that here. One more neat thing, that little black switch behind the TV, that activates the Wi-Fi Ranger. And if you're not familiar with that, chances are you're familiar with what a wireless router is in your house, right? Basically, it's technically more involved than that, but basically, this RV has its own built-in Wi-Fi router to give you easier access to mobile data sources. Now, notice that we have a drawer below that dinette seat. We'll look at that in a second. One of the questions someone's going to have is there storage below the opposite bench? And the answer is, there is not, because there are things under it that help the RV operate, and they don't want cargo to shift and potentially damage anything. Real quick note, before we look at this thing in the sleeper position, notice the single pedestal. It's a really smart design feature, because this is a small dinette. If it had two pedestals, you'd smash your knees on them. And if it had one pedestal in the middle, you'd still smash your knees on it, and the table would be unstable. So what they did is they put one pedestal all the way at the edge to leave you clear leg room in the middle, and then the table actually brackets against the wall, so it's super stable. You're not going to have to worry about accidentally bumping it and spilling your coffee in the morning or anything like that. Additionally, they used a different material on that tabletop from the rest of the Rockwood tables you find through most of their lineup. It is incredibly lightweight, yet very strong. Now, this is definitely a couple's camper, but it can accommodate a guest. It would do better if it was a small guest. If I were your guest, being a 6'3"-ish, 190-ish pound man, I would probably not enjoy sleeping on that dinette. And there's a chance that if I tried to stretch out at night, I would try to put my foot through this rear partition. But a big dog, a little kid, something like that for the weekend, you're going to be fine. Most of the time, this is not what... If you're going to have guests or kids or something, a lot of people look to the 19BH GeoPro bunk model instead. And again, roller shades for blackout all the way around, and they extend past the window so you don't get any light stabbing you in the eye. And again, down below, we have that handy plywood full extension drawer right there. Getting that drawer out of the way, we can see that this camper is completely carpetless, it is ventless, it is easy cleaning, it is pet friendly. It is a lot of things that a lot of people are looking for. Now, an oven is optional in this kitchen, but it will dramatically reduce your total like storage space that you have here. And we'll open that up in just a second so you can see everything, but I think most people are going to prefer having the storage. But again, just like I said when this segment of the video opened, sometimes people don't like them the way we build them. If you want one with an oven, call us. We'll get you one with an oven. Did I just sound a little bit like Jerry Seinfeld right there? Like, RV ovens? What is the deal? Anyway. So pocket screwed cabinets, but notice their overhead cabinet doors have a strut. So they flip up, get out of the way, stay out the way. And that makes it very easy to be able to get through everything. Just like a gas oven is an option, a convection microwave is also an option. However, we have not found a lot of people looking for that in these GeoPros. But again, we can put one of those in you. And maybe I'm wrong. If you would, like, I'd be curious to know, what's your opinion on any of these options? Like whether it's off-road, convection, oven, power tongue jack, heated tanks, air conditioner, etc. How would you list out how would you like your GeoPro built? And maybe we can get them built even better for you guys. Now down below here, it's a 5 cubic foot fridge freezer. It's a single door, but there is a freezer pocket inside of it. Common question. People are going to say, can I get rid of the microwave and put a 2-door fridge freezer in it? No. This is how they are built. You can change to a convection microwave because it fits the footprint. They will not rebuild any cabinetry in any other way. They can't. With the volume that Rockwood puts out as the single largest volume producer of lightweight trailers, they just can't make custom one-offs. Now, you have limited counter space here, but they have done what they could to help you in this little trailer. I think there's enough for couples prep area here. Like, they've got this flip-up extension leaf on the right. You do need to flip that down if you're going to activate the Murphy bed. Now, that big kitchen window does tilt open for airflow, by the way. And you'll find nicer fixtures in here. Just like everything else, they're using better materials wherever they can, like that stainless sink. And that big triple burner stovetop with that flush mount tempered glass cover gives us some good prep space. Down below, this does have a single drawer, but they include a handy little silverware utensil organizer, so I think that gets the job done. And again, when you do not add the optional oven to this thing, you save a little weight, save a little money, but gain a ton of storage. And, thankfully, Rockwood has adopted the use of the Barley Poppinator 3000 series. And we are also greeted with a surprisingly well trimmed out bathroom here. So this has an aggressively vaulted ceiling, and the rear bathroom area here is the easiest place to see it, because you see that horizontal trim that runs right behind the mirror, then you can very easily trace the vault line of the roof of this. It is a laminated roof, but it's a 5-inch vaulted laminated roof. Normally you can't do that. When you laminate, you can only bend on about 2.5 inches worth of bend. So if you notice, there's also that seam running right above us here, that piece of trim. This is actually 2.5 inch vaulted laminated roof sections seamed together at the top, and it's like dovetailed together, sort of like if you go over an expansion bridge that has those big steel teeth for heat expansion and contraction. It looks like that. So the vaulted ceiling and that skylight gives you the headroom you need for this little camper. And then typical Rockwood doing Rockwood things. We got stuff like that little handy shower caddy right there to keep your body washes and stuff, from falling all over the place. Now, you've got the nice shower surround paneling here. You see this thing says AquaView Shower Miser. Well, that's what this little jobber over here is. You don't use it if you're park camping. You use it if you're dry camping. And what it's going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is if you're trying to take a shower, you don't want to waste hot water. You don't want your water to, while you're waiting for it to get warm, you don't want to be wasting that water. So the Shower Miser allows you to shut off the freshwater flow and recycle that back into your fresh tank so you're not losing a drop of water. Not a big bathroom, but the fact that they still included an adult-size sink was just an absolute stroke of genius. And of course, we still have a full medicine cabinet, not just a little mirror glued to the wall. It might make the room look bigger, but it'd be less functional. Speaking of function, I don't know if there's a single more functional item on this than this big Max Air vent fan that you find on these, and that does include the roof vent cover, like the bigger Rockwoods, which is something we'll see when we climb up on the roof. Also, this entire wall is one giant storage cabinet that runs behind the foot flush toilet over here. So that gives us room for those toiletries, beach towels, regular towels. It could be overflow pantry storage. It's very large, and you could dedicate each shelf to a different thing. And I am a fan of the real sharp linear lines they got going on here. That has a great look to it. As I mentioned previously, you can build these a number of different ways. This is the standard nose cap. We custom ordered a handful of these 19FDs as a test last year with a front windshield, like comes equipped on some of the other GeoPros, and it was very popular. We're hoping we can do some more of that this year. There's some finagling we had to do to make that happen, and hopefully we can accomplish that finagling again this year. But at the least, this is what you could expect to look at, and it's not like you're settling. This thing has a dynamite look and appeal to it. If you note on the front there's the optional power tongue jack. we don't typically build our GeoPros here with that bike rack on the front, that Jacket brand bike rack, because we found that we can install one for you for the exact same price as you could have just got one from the factory, kind of like a backup camera. This is backup camera prepped, and if you want one, we can put one on it for you. We just don't tend to build them with them on there. So the frameless window package is something Rockwood does in all their travel trailers, gives it that great look. Windows tilt open for airflow. Normally, I would say, or pardon me, tilt open for airflow on a rainy day. Let me quantify that. Tilt open windows do get reduced airflow versus sliding windows. However, that larger 12-volt max air vent fan in the bathroom will help overcome that potential deficiency. Now, this series, the GeoPro series, violates a lot of Rockwood's normal build standards and concepts, but for the best reasons. This is built to be as big as possible while weighing as little as possible. And they've done that through things like heavy use of aluminum skeleton work and lamination, heavy use of AZDEL materials. This is an AZDEL ultralight wall inside and out. Pretty much anywhere it's laminated, there's AZDEL in use to keep the weight down in check. They've also gone away from a traditional I-beam style frame to the NXG hook bolted chassis, which is like an aircraft style chassis. It is very strong, it is very light, it is also more expensive. The GeoPros here are not the least expensive series of tiny trailer out there. They are, however, pretty much the most tricked out little camper you could possibly find. A lot of times people ask, can I get it in a tandem axle? No. GeoPros are built to be no more than 20 feet tip to tail and no more than 3,000 pounds dry weight in a base variety. So adding a second axle increases the weight of the chassis. The axle itself, it just wouldn't be a GeoPro anymore. At that point, it would just be back to a Rockwood Mini Lite. So if you like a GeoPro but want tandem axles, take a look at a Rockwood Mini Lite. Full outside shower here, something that not all tiny trailers have. So you do have hot, cold water access there. Handy little sewer hose caddy as well, because these little things have very limited outside storage. As I mentioned when the video opened, this one is built with the optional off-road package. That gives us the taller tires and an axle riser kit to increase the ground clearance on the RV. And that all sounds good, but even without it, there's not a significant variance between the two. That does increase the overall height a little bit. I don't have a hard measurement on that. If that's something you need to make sure it fits into a garage or something, give our team a call. We'll jump out with a tape measure. We will double check that for you. All LED tail and marker lights makes this safer and obviously more reliable. LED tail lights flash 5 milliseconds faster, and what that translates into at 60 miles an hour is 5 feet of additional stopping time for the person behind you. Now you see that there is a ladder on the back here. That's something that very few single axle little campers offer, and that's just prototypical Rockwood doing Rockwood things. They always do everything a little bit further, you know. And for such a little camper, we have a lot of big hitter features to talk about here. First of all, the fact that they're, you know, this is basically, I guess you'd call it the little brother to the Mini Lite series because it's smaller, but in a lot of ways it actually has a higher equipment package like the solar, the inverter, stuff like that. But as we come over here, you see we've got the same power awning as this Mini Lite brother, so we've got LED lighting, auto rain dump, tilt and lock. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. I want to spend a lot of time on the things that are really exceptional here, like the fact that instead of the Coleman camp grill like these had used in the past, they've gone to the same suburban griddle system that you find on the Mini Lites, the Ultras, and the Signature Series Rockwood. So they've really standardized their exterior cooking across the board. I think this makes a lot of sense. It utilizes the gas grill quick connect, which is located right behind that tire, which has been there for years on these GeoPros. They just, for some reason, were using a Coleman camp grill system that didn't attach to it. Well, now everything does attach. So that's very cool. Now what's neat about it is, if you want to, you don't have to use the griddle on that bracket. You could use it up here on the shelf. It could free float over to a picnic table. Maybe you just want to get a propane extension hose, which we have here at Haylett RV. And, you know, we're kind of a one-stop shop that way to help you camp your way. Now, down below, we've already talked about the optional off-road tire package. But what we haven't talked about is the fact that even these GeoPros, just like a giant Rockwood signature travel trailer, are including a tire pressure monitoring system with that handy color display. And you get that regardless of which tire package you go with, so that before you leave or when you're going down the road, you always have the peace of mind to know, is this thing healthy behind you? Is it like towing healthy? And you can actually take a peek at the little sewer hose caddy right behind the belly-mounted spare tire, right between the two things here. It's just a nice handy way to keep your black tank stuff from mucking with your freshwater stuff. Now, these have had the MORryde stable steps since their inception, I believe. Maybe the very first generation lacked them, but the point here is that no matter what, whether you get off-road package or not, you still get the MORryde 2-step stable step, and those adjustable feet pegs are what will allow it to be used on either the off-road or non-off-road varieties. Also, just above that front marker light, just in front of that baggage door right there, we do have a simple side mount solar prep. So you can have the roof solar and the side solar kind of chugging away at the same time on these GeoPros if you really just want to go solar crazy. And you may have noticed a ladder on the back of these GeoPros. That is because they have a fully walkable roof, and unlike a lot of other tiny campers, even those that have a walkable roof, these are not the most price-sensitive trailer. This isn't made to be the least expensive little guy out there. It's made to be a full-feature luxury camping little experience, effectively. Now, things like the roof solar panel here used to be at the very origin of the GeoPro family. This used to be optional and very quickly became standard. We always put it on ours whenever it was available. And next to the solar wiring, you see the two antennas there. That is the Wi-Fi Ranger, which basically, even if you're not off-grid, even if you're going to be park camping, it still provides you those nicer luxury features. The Max Air vent cover over that bigger vent fan we saw in the bathroom provides extra airflow. Very handy if you are off-grid and don't have access to use things like the optional 13,500 BTU low-profile air conditioner. And I stress that word low profile because one of the more common questions we get is people say, what's the roof height once I add the optional air conditioner? And the total exterior height of the RV doesn't change, because if you look in the distance, you can see there are other things that stick up higher still, like that vent fan cover. So this low profile air was used on purpose so as not to increase the overall exterior clearance on your GeoPros. And it's that kind of extra thought and execution that goes into this, because this is a more expensive air unit, but it also means that you're not a taller trailer as a result. And if you appreciate the information we've provided here today, all we ask is you give our team here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan, the fair opportunity to earn your business. We don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do hitching pieces, parts, trades finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.